नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter number 24, verse number 60, 59. So this is a description about Krishna. He is concluding this description of the dynasty of Somavansa, coming from Yadu, and before that Puru. So he explained about Krishna, how he is the 8th child of Vasudeva and Devaki and his son Bhagavan, and he comes to establish dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya akshaya vridhisya papmana. So now he says that akshani nam patibhir asurair niplanchanaihi bhuva akramya manaya abharaya kritodyama. So he acted kritodyama for relieving the earth of burden. Abharaya, bhuva abharaya kritodyama. What is the bhara? Akramya manaya, the earth which was being treated or burdened by the army of kings who were more like asuras. Asurair nirpalanchanai, who were actually asuras in the form of kings, or who appeared or dressed like kings, but they had asuric mentality, and they had big army, Akshanihinam. So he came to destroy that. Sri Krishna se tu janma karmanor hetu spashtam eva. So earlier he said that living beings, they are born and they act because of their past karma, they are influenced by that. But he says that as far as Krishna's birth and activities are concerned, the cause behind that is clear, that he comes to deliver the earth of its burden. Prithvivyam prithvistha janesu sadhak siddha bhakteshu api kripa eva drishyate ityaha. So it is seen that the people of earth, and specifically it refers to the devotees, both sadhak and siddha, perfected beings and the practicing devotees, his appearance here is seen as his grace, and this is being described now in 7 verses. Akshahanini nam iti saptavi bhuvo bhar haranat asuranam api badhena sansar haranat kripa ukta. So this relieving the earth of its burden, and he does this by killing these kings who are asuras, and this is also his grace. Karmani aparimeyani mansapi sureshwaraihi sah sankarshanas chakre Bhagavan Madhusudana. Bhagavan Madhusudana or Krishna, he performed various deeds here on earth which cannot be imagined or logically understood even by mind, and even by the best of the suras or sureshwaras like Indra or Brahma. He performed these activities along with his brother Sankarshana. So mansapi aparimeyani. Aparimeya means, meya is that which you can know, and parimeya is can know it well, and aparimeya is that which is cannot be known, cannot be understood, because it is not within human capacity to understand it by logic. Tijachintya, that is the meaning of aparimeya here. Kalau janishya mana nam दुःख शोक तमोनुदम Anugrahaya bhaktanam supunyam vyatanoti yashaha. And not only that, he benefited the devotees who were present at that time, benefited earth. Bhudevi, she is also devotee, so he comes for her sake. But he performed activities also to bless the people who will be born in Kali Yuga, so that they can hear about it, they can meditate on them, deliberate, and thus become purified. So that is the purpose, that is also the purpose of his activities. So Kalau Janishya Nam, the people who will be born in Kali Yuga, Dukkha Shoka Tamonudam, to relieve them of their suffering, their grief and their ignorance. Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, and to bless the devotees. Supunyam Vyatanod Yasha, he spread his yasha or his fame by performing these activities. So the various activities which he performed are all purifying. So therefore one should hear that Yattu Uttam Sloka Gunanuvada Sangyate. So that Uttam Sloka Gunanuvada Sangyate Abhikshana. So Tadeva Nityam Shrunayad Paramama Mangala Ghana. So this destroys all amangala, inauspiciousness. Therefore that should be heard. These other kathas, they were, he says, Vacho vibhutirna tu paramarth katha imaste kathita mahiyasam vitaya lokeshu parayusham. So he says all these stories of various kings which I have explained, Vigyan Vairagya Vivakshaya Vibho Vacho Vibhutirna tu paramarth. So this is to instill a sense of vairagya, because some vairagya is necessary to become interested in bhakti. Those people who have no vairagya, they don't have an interest in it, and they think it is a waste of time. Why? What are you people doing here? You should be in the world and suffering with them. So they think this is some kind of escapism. So obviously everybody has their own view of things. Everybody understands things according to their own past experiences, their own view of the world. We perceive things differently. So their view is different, therefore this bhakti looks something very weird to them, something crazy. So that's why he says that the stories of the kings have been explained, that even people like Kartavirya Arjun, who was ruling for some 84,000 years, and he did not become old or weak physically or mentally. Even he has to go, and he was killed. Even he met his death not in a very honorable manner. Of course, it is fortune to be killed by Parshuram, but still that's not a great thing, because what he did was wrong. So to be killed for that. So even such people have to leave from here. What to speak of we who live, in comparison to 84,000 years. 84 years is 1,000 part of that. So how much can you achieve in that? But if we have vairagya, understanding, we can achieve more than what he achieved. We can achieve bhakti. So therefore he says that this is especially for the people of Kali Yuga. Why especially for the people of Kali Yuga? Because people of Kali Yuga do not have any other ability. They do not have ability to do tapasya or some yogic practice, but they can listen to stories, right? Can watch Krishna story. So this is easy. What can be easier than this? And this will purify. So that's why he says that supunyam vyatanod yashaha. That yasha is supunyam. Mahat punyam yasho marare. Samasritaye padapallavam plavam. Mahat punya yasho marare. So his punya is mahat. His yasha is mahat punya. It brings great piety. Piety is material, but this is mahat. Piety means it is devotion. So this is the greatness of his activities, that although he is not personally visible to us, but we can still benefit from his appearance here on earth. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti writes, Bhuvi sthitesu kripa muktva bhuvi sthashyatsu api kripa maha kalaviti. So in the previous two slokas he explained his grace on people who were present on earth at that time when he appeared. And now in this sloka he explains his grace on people who will be born after he left. Because after he left, then Kali Yuga began. Kali Yuga started immediately, as if he was just waiting for him to leave, right? Like when the cat leaves, the mice come and play. So Kali Yuga was like that. As soon as Krishna left, he came the very same day. So to bless them, his katha is there. Tamo avidya. And tama here, which means darkness, is avidya or ignorance. So by hearing Krishna katha, one becomes free from avidya. Yasmin satkarna piyuse yasas tirtha vare sakrit Srotanjalirapsprishya dhanute karma vasanam. So yasmin satkarna piyushe yasas tirtha vare sakrit srotanjalir upsprishya dhanute karma vasanam. So this katha, this stories of Krishna, they are called as karna piyusha. They are the amrita or the nectar for the ears. And they are like the tirtha. So tirtha has also holy waters where you go and take dip. So if one even does achman with this water, upasprishya is like doing achman. Putting few drops inside your mouth means hearing even little bit of this katha. Shrotanjali, with the anjali or with the palms, like you can drink water taking it in your palms. So like that you drink with the palms of your ears. Shrotanjali put. So dhunute karma vasanam, then it dispels or destroys the karma vasana. Not karma, because if karma is destroyed, then still vasana will remain. Then you will act again. So it destroys the very vasana. So that is the Chetodarpan Marjanam, cleansing the heart, because it is the vasanas which impel us to act. Otherwise, you can become free from karma by performing some activities, but then the vasanas, they will impel you to act again. Then you have to again do another action to clear those karma. So this will never come to an end, because vasanas remain inside. So the solution to remove the vasana is bhakti. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that Chetodarpan Marjanam. Because the vasanas are not part of our chetas or our chitta, they are only outside it. So therefore they can be removed like dust on a mirror. So dust is not part of the mirror, it's external, so you can clean it. If it was inside, you cannot clean it. So therefore vasanas or karma vasana, they can be removed and we can purify. Because Atma is pure by nature and Chitta is only a receptacle. It's like a pot. So you can put poison in it, you can also put milk. So it doesn't make any difference to the constitution of the pot. Pot just holds whatever you put in it. So Chitta can hold Sadvasana or Kuvasana, good vasanas, good desires, or bad ones. So here karma vasana, good and bad, both are removed. Because those which are considered as good, they are also cause of bondage. They are good only relatively, but ultimately they are also binding you to this material world. So therefore they should be cleared.
Can I ask one thing that's it's almost entirely related to this?
Yeah.
The term we have swabhav, is that essentially the aggregate of all of one's vasanas, or is it something that contains those things?
No, this is what the swabhav is, the vasanas.
It's just a term to refer to the collective amount of them.
Yeah, because vasanas are many. So swabhav, it's like what is predominant among them. We have various types of vasana. Vasana is just like a fragrance. So there are various types of fragrances inside. So like you have, like when they make all these perfumes. So when they make perfumes, it is not just one type of oil. They mix and they come out with so much variety, right? So that is what swabhav is. That various types of vasanas are there, but among that one is predominant. So in perfume also there is one particular smell which is predominant. The others are also there, but one is predominant. So that's what you consider like the swabhava of that perfume. So similarly, when we say somebody is sattvic in nature or somebody is rajasic in nature or swabhava is sattvic, so that is by predominance, but there are many other things lurking below that. So that's how it is.
Question.
Yes.
Now we see your swabhav maybe for sleep maybe tamasic, but for eating maybe a sattvic. So how all these variations are there. So how is one particular sabhava can be stated?
What do you mean sleep is sattvic?
Let's say he's only, according to, let's say he's only taking 6 or 7 hours sleep, which is sattvic, and he doesn't sleep, oversleep, or eating is very moderate. But he's doing some other activities completely tamasic.
Yes. So what is the question?
The question is, so he has a svabhava tamasic for his eating or sattvic for some other activity, so his svabhava has so many varieties within it?
No, that's what I said, that when we say swabhava, then we take the predominance. So when we say somebody has a sattvic swabhava, means that predominantly the person acts in a sattvic manner. We are not talking about swabhava related to specific activities. When we talk of somebody's swabhava, like you said, this person is very jolly, he has a jolly nature. That does not mean that that person never gets upset or is sad. But that is predominant. And then that jolliness also may be in relationship to certain activities, and in certain activities he may be irritated. So that's the predominant nature. So when we say somebody has sattvic nature, so maybe most of the activities he does sattvic and some tamasic also. So that's what it means. So that's why I'm saying that svabhava is according to the predominance. But if you speak of specific activities, sleeping, eating, working, then we don't say that this is a svabhava. Then you have to say that this is if you have to use svabhava, then you have to say svabhava related to this particular activity. So then you are narrowing it down only to that specific activity. But then you can make a chart, and then predominantly you can say, well, his predominant svabhava is sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. That's how they do a survey for somebody. When they do survey, they have a list of things, eating habit, sleeping habit, working habit, all this. So with that, then you make, give certain numbers to that, add it up. So that also gives you predominance. That predominantly in sattva, and then rajas is second. But it is actually related to specific activities. So some people maybe in their working habits are sattvic, but in their eating habits they are rajasic. Can you say that?
Thank you.
Could you help me understand better the difference between vasana and sanskara? Is it that the sanskara means that I have some feeling or some
Samskara is related to some specific thing, generally. So vasana is something which gives a tendency. Like if you suppose eat mango, so it has created a samskara. You don't call it as a vasana. But if you go on eating mango for a long time, then you may develop a ruchi or taste for it. So then you can say that you have the vasana for it. So therefore vasanas are generally, the word vasana is also used some tendencies which come from previous life.
Yeah.
So because those are tendencies, you are not talking about some specific samskara. If you are attracted to a particular type of activity or food or situation, it's your tendency. It's not a specific samskara there. So vasana therefore is a tendency which is obviously developed over a period of some actions, or is an outcome of many samskaras. So when we say samskara, then it is referring to a specific thing. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, he comments on this. Nanu supunyamiti yuktya yasah swargjanakam avgamyate tatra maivamiti ahayasvaniti. So in the previous sloka, Sri Sukadeva Goswami used an adjective for yasha or fame as supunyam. So punya is piety, and general understanding is that piety leads to swarga, to go to heaven, and papam leads to hell, so you go to naraka. This is the understanding. So you have good karma, you go to heaven, you have bad karma, you go to hell. So therefore he is raising a doubt on this, that supunyam, he said supunyam yasha. So by saying this, it is understood that by hearing Krishna Katha, one will go to Swarga, because you are developing punya. Punya yasho marare. Mahat punya yasho marare. It is a punya. It's like you do some charitable act, do some yajna. So from that you get punya. So he says, no, it is not, that's not the meaning here. So maivamiti ahayasminiti sadbhi karnapeya piyushamaye yashorupe tirthavare shrotram eva anjali pana sadhanam yasya sa upsprishya achman matram kritva. So he says that those saintly people or sadhus who just touch this Krishna Katha, which means that considering the shrotra, the ears, as the anjali or the palms, which means here as pana sadhanam, the means to drink. So hearing Krishna Katha is being compared here to a drinking. Pibata bhagavatam rasamalaya. So he does not say that you hear, but you drink. So as if you are going to drink with your ears. So, and the fame is of Krishna Katha, or the fame which he has because of this Katha, is like the topmost tirtha, holy place. Because people go to holy place. The word tirtha also means water or holy water. Tirtha also means guru, holy place. It also means holy water, because usually, at least in India, all the holy places, they will have some holy river or a holy pond. Wherever you go, you will not find that some holy place without some water source. So whether it is Banaras, Haridwar, Ayodhya, there is Saryu river there, or in South India you have Kaveri, Krishna, all these rivers. So there, all the holy places are on the rivers, or some pond is there. Radha Kund we have, Mansarovar, or Pushkar, Rajasthan. So Bindu Sarovar. So people go there and then they drink the water, they take dip in it. You also do achman. So he says that just upasprashya, thus by touching it or doing achman with it, using your, like you do achman, you do it with your hand. You need anjali, you have to fold your palm. So your ears are like that. So this is what you call rupak. What is the English for that? Not allegory, but metaphor. So this is a metaphor. Karnapeya piyushmai. So, and this is peya, to be drunk by the ear, and it is the nectar, peya piyush. So he says, just achman kritva, just by doing the achmana, you will become purified. Kim punarapiya. And then what if you actually drink it? how much more purifying it would be. Sakrid ekvaram api, and only once, and then kim punar bahusha. So what if you drink it again and again? Nityam bhagavad sevaya bhagavati uttam sloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. So do it every day regularly. Karma vasnam avidyam. So what is karma vasna? Karma vasna is ultimately avidya, ignorance, because it avidya karma vipak. So avidya karma sangyanya tritiya deshyate. So this is material energy, avidya. It is also called karma vasna or avidya karma. So yasya parokshvartino api yat kinchid yasha shravan matrena eva sansaram taranti. So he says that Krishna is not personally present here, only his yasha is there, so it is paroksha, means not aparoksha, not direct. So even that it purifies. Or yasha is paroksha, parokshavartina, Sravan matrena eva sansaram taranti. So these sadhus, sadbhi, they transcend the samsara simply by hearing about it. So that is his kripa. He is explaining his kripa or his grace or his compassion on people who will come in Kali Yuga. Bhoj Vrishni Andhak Madhusur Sena Dasarha Kai Slaghniye Hita Shashvat Kuru Punya Kuru Srinja Pandubhi. So he says that Slaghniya ihitaha Sashvat. So he performed these activities of his fame or which are purifying along with his associates. And these associates, they also praise him for this. So Slaghniya ihitaha Shashvat Kuru Srinja Panduvi. So these are all the associates. Bhoja, we already read these names, so now you can remember Vrishni. So those who came in the line of Bhoja, Vrishni, Andhaka, Madhu, Surasena and Dasarha. And then Kuru, Srinjaya, Pandubi, Sashvat, Slaghniya. So they are associates and they are eternally glorifying Krishna, his activities, because they are personally present with him. So ihitaha Slaghniya. Tatsamkal bhavatvena aparokshvartina stallila parikarastu avganya mahimane param mam anya eva ityaha bhuj. So those who were present personally when Krishna was there, aparokshvartina, so now people who are present, Krishna is not personally present. So the yasa is paroksha, or Krishna is paroksha, or we are paroksha to him. But those people who were present at that time, his associates, for them Krishna was personally there and his fame is there at that time. Personally things were happening. So they have supreme glory also. Tallila parikarastu aganya mahimana. So these are all Leela Parikara, or these are associates of his Leela, and their glory is also unlimited. Paramamanya eva. So their supreme glory is also separate. So this is being described. That their activities is also Slaghniya, their works, their activities, they are also worshipable. Snigdha smitekshita udara vakyair vikram leelaya nirlokam ramayamasa murtya sarvanga ramyaha. So he says that with his affectionate smiles, glances and generous words and wonderful well-dressed pastimes, nirlokam ramayamasa murtya sarvanga ramya. So he relished his stay here on earth with his form which is sarvanga ramya, which every limb of his body was just exquisitely beautiful. So tadeva ramyam sucharam navam navam. So everything is ramyam and navam navam. Tateva sasvad manso mahotsavam. It is the festival for the mind at every step. So yetu tasya ati prema vishay bhuta नेत्रांजलिभ्याम तदीय रूप माधुर्य पानासक्तः श्रोत्रादीनपि सफलयन्ति ते तु अति धन्या इत्या. So as far as people of Kali Yuga are concerned, they can drink the nectar of his beauty, of his pastimes only through the ears. But those who are physically present with him, they not only drank it with their ears, because they will also talk about his activities, but they also drank it through their eyes, netranjali. So not only through the cup of the ears, but also through the cup of their eyes. So the gopis, they will perform their daily chores while singing Krishna Leela. Mother Yashoda will churn yogurt and she will sing songs about Krishna. So she is seeing him and also hearing about him and also singing about him. So this is there, Netranjali Bhyam Tadiya Rupa Madhurya Panasakta. So they were addicted to drinking the beauty of Krishna through the cup of their eyes. And Shrotradin api safalyanti, they also made their ears successful by hearing about him. So they tetu ati dhanya, they are supremely fortunate. They are the most wealthy people because they have the wealth of seeing him besides hearing about him. So this is being described here. Snigdham smitam. So his smile, what is his smile? Snigdha smita. So there are two types of smile. One is called snigdha smita, other is called asnigdha smita. So asnigdha smita you see when you board a plane. Right? So that is the asnigdha smita. So these ladies are standing at the gate and bonjour, welcome, right, guten tag, whatever they are saying, and they are smiling, but it is not snigdha. It's not coming from the heart. To their job, that's their duty. So they have nothing to do with us except they really don't care, but they have to be there. So Krishna's smile is snigdha because he is with his devotees who are also full of love for him. So he reciprocates with them, he talks with them, he smiles at them. So that is snigdha smita. And so this Snigdha Smita has different, beauty than the Snigdha Smita. It is highly captivating. And then Ikshita, and also his glance is very affectionate. So he is not only smiling, because when you smile at somebody, you also look at that person, and your look is also snigdha, right? It's not that you smile snigdha and look is something else, right? There is no such dissonance between the two. So they go together. If your heart is full of love, then your smile and your looks are also expressing that love. So your love is primarily expressed through the eyes, right? And smile comes along with it. And then he says udarair, ikshita udarair vakyair. And then he also speaks which are very generous statements. Obviously out of affection, what comes out from the mouth is very pleasing and fulfilling. And Vikram Leelaya. And then he has his activities, his pastimes, which are Vikram, which are very heroic, extraordinary. So Nilokam Ramayamasa. So in this way he enjoyed. So again, when we think that Krishna was enjoying, we should not think that others were suffering, because people somehow they get this idea that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and here in the material world it is like that when somebody is enjoying, then he enjoys at the expense of others, because people here are not concerned about others' enjoyment. They are concerned about their own enjoyment, and in the process, if they have to make some other people happy, they do that, but their interest is their own enjoyment. That's the game here. But Krishna, when we say that he is supreme enjoyer, it means that he is supreme enjoyer because he gives supreme enjoyment to his associates, his devotees. So they are also enjoying more than him. So this is what we have to keep in mind, otherwise people think that somebody becomes envious of him and then leaves from the Vaikuntha to come here. So there is no such possibility. So everybody is, if Krishna is enjoying, then everyone is enjoying with him. They are all happy. So this is the meaning of Nirlokam Ramaya Masa Murtya Sarvanga Ramya, because if they are seeing his smile, his face, hearing his words, this is very pleasing, blissful. ये तो स्निग्धम स्मितम यत्र तथा भूतम यदीक्षितम अवलोकनम, and then he is seeing अवलोकनम तेन उदारैर मनोवांछा पूरकै. So उदारैर वाक्यै, his statement are called udara. So udara means generous, or one who is very charitable. So how can his words be charitable? When we say somebody is charitable, then some human being is charitable, right? Can somebody's statement be charitable? So here he says that his vakya, his words, his statements, his speech is charitable. So why it is said that the speech is charitable? Because charitable means that somebody who fulfills your desire. If you are hungry, he gives you food. If you are poor, you want some money, he gives you that. Then you say this person is very charitable, very generous. So Krishna's speech is so generous that just by hearing the words, your desires are fulfilled. Right? Not that he is doing anything. It's just the word which come from his mouth are so satisfying. Right? So as Arjuna says that I have heard from you, so now I am satisfied. Tvaya prasadam me achyuta. Nashto moha smritir labdha. Right? In the beginning he said that I have moha, vimudha cheta, prichhami tvam sammudha cheta. Right? In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said that he is bewildered, he is confused, and please help me. I don't know what is good for me, to fight or not fight, to win or to lose. Right? That's what he was saying. Yadi vayo jayemi, jayeme, yadi vano jayeyu. So now he says, Nasta moha smriti labdha tvat prasadam me achyuta. Sthitosmi gat sandeha karishye vachnata. So his desire got fulfilled by what? By hearing Krishna's words. So that is the Udara Vakya. So that is Udarair. Manovancha Purakahi. Kadachid Vikramasya Swamadhur Charan Vinyasasya Veeraras Vyanjikasya Swayasho Viryasya Va Leelaya Nirlokam Manusyat. So now Vikrama can have different meaning. Vikrama means also heroic act. Vikrama can also simply means walking. Krama. Kramupad vikshepe. Kramati means he walks. So Vikrama means that he has a nice gait, nice walk. Some people when they walk, it's also very nice. Just it's pleasurable just to see them walking, right? Therefore they have a catwalk, right? People are sitting there just to see them walking. So Krishna, he is Vikrama, Vishesha Krama, Vishesh Rupena Kramati iti Vikrama. He has a very special gait, very attractive. He is walking. So that is one meaning. Swamadhuru Charan Vinyasasya. That he has his feet which are also very sweet. So when he puts his foot on the one after another, that is so nice. That is just captivating the heart. So that is one meaning of Vikrama. Then Vikrama also means heroic act. So then Veerarasa Vyanjakas. That Leela where he expresses his Veerarasa, fighting. Right? Fighting with Kesi demon, fighting with Vrishbhasura, or fighting with Kamsa. Kamsa, there was no fight, of course. He was already finished. But Chanur, Mustika, many of the Jasuras he was fighting. So that is Veeraras Vyanjakasya. Or Swayasho Viryasya Valilya. Or Vikrama here simply means the greatness or prowess of his yasha, his fame, that he performs his leela, which is such wonderful that itself has power in it. Because he says that you get purified by it just by the contact. That means the sins, they run away by little touch of Krishna's fame. This means fame is very powerful. Right? So it dispels the avidya. He says, Shoka tamo nudaha. That it dispels the avidya. So it must be powerful to do that. So therefore that is another meaning. So Leela Nirlokam. Nirlokam here means Manushya Jatim. Swapriya Jan Samuham. So Nirlokam here refers to his associates. So those who appeared with him as human beings, he was with them and he relished with them. Murtya Sarvanga Ramya. So Sarvanga Ramya means that all parts of his body are beautiful. Sometimes some people have beautiful eyes, beautiful nose, beautiful ears, beautiful teeth, beautiful lips, beautiful hair, one of the things, not everything. So their nose is beautiful but not the lips, right? So Krishna is Sarvanga Ramya, that all his parts are extremely beautiful. So therefore Nirlokam Ramayamas. So he gave happiness to his associates. Ramayamas also means Ramayati, means he gave them happiness, pleasure by his beauty. So this is describing his appearance. So Sukadeva Goswami is doing this so that Parikshit Maharaj will ask him question about Krishna so that he can begin 10th canto, for which he has been waiting all this time. This is like what you call appetizer. So before you get the meal, you are served appetizer. So in India, appetizer is different. They give you some little adrak, piece of ginger with black salt, and drop of lemon on it. So that increases your appetite. And in the West, they give you soup. Right? Start with the soup. So that's what Sukadeva Goswami is doing. He is giving soup now so that you can prepare yourself for the big meal. How would they call 7-course meal, or how many? How many courses? What is famous? Anybody knows here? Like this, a 5-course, 7-course, like that. So he's going to give many courses. 90 chapters are coming. So there will be 90 courses of meal which he is going to serve, because 10th canto is the biggest part of Bhagavatam. So that's what he is doing. So there are 3 more verses in this chapter, and then we will enter into the 10th chapter. Any question on this?
Babaji Maharaj?
Haji.
I had 2 questions, in fact, about that course. So when we join this academy, so we have maximum is 11 course dinner.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
So anyway.
So what is there in the 11 course? You remember?
Yeah, first is for non-vegetarian it is easier, na, the fish, mutton, chicken. So these 3 things become then soup and. But for vegetarians, they keep giving all this tikki, aloo tikki and paratha.
Okay. But 11 is a lot. How much can you eat?
No, then sweet, 2 or 3 different type of sweet dish, like one ice cream and one kheer or something like that.
Okay.
And then there is, in the beginning, there is some wine served. So for vegetarians, they serve water.
Well, vegetarian can also take wine.
No, what teetotalers like.
Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, my question was two things I had to ask you. First, you said that his words are auspicious, very mangalmay. Like Arjuna said, Nashtu Moho Smriti Latva Prasadam Achyute. But then, we also observe that people just hear, but until unless they act onto it, it's not really mangalmay. So then, can we just say that just hearing those words is good enough?
Yeah, it is good enough, but because the people themselves have such a big disease that you have to share a lot. Just like if you have normal health, then food gives you nourishment. But if you don't have good health, then food does not act to nourish you because it doesn't get digested properly. It may in fact create armor. So that depends on the person himself or herself. So even good food can create problem if one has some digestion problems. So that is not the problem with the food itself.
Okay, so basically one must act to get the real benefit.
Yeah, act and also hearing is also purifying. If one hears with faith and sincerity, then this also purifies.
The second question was regarding you said Krishna is the supreme enjoyer in the sense that he gives enjoyment to his devotees, whereas in this material world everyone is just thinking about his own enjoyment, and in the bargain, if required, they try to make others happy. The experience is that within your heart you can just generally have one or two people, like not more than, not infinite kind of this thing. So it's just my guess. I just wanted to confirm with you that like in the spiritual world, everyone in their heart would be having Krishna, and accordingly they would be acting. So what about Krishna's heart? That his heart is also infinite, which has infinite number of people.
Yes. That's what is shown in Ras Leela. He was with everybody. Tasam madhyar dvayo dvayo. He manifested as many forms as the gopis were there, so that everyone feels that Krishna is with her. So that is, of course, he is Ananta, he is unlimited, he is not like us. Okay.
Babaji, pranams. I had a small question.
Yes, Bhushan.
I have slight difficulty understanding the word bhara in the sense, what does burden here exactly mean? Because at that time they were also doing yajnas and following Bharata and Jarasandha. So what does exactly bhara mean? Why was it a big problem?
Well, bhara means to do something which goes against the will of God. So even they are doing yajna, but he was also against Krishna. He was attacking him 17 times. So much that Krishna has to run away from Mathura to Dwarka. So that is the bhara. So sometimes people are there that they, like this question is raised many times, that what about people who are vegetarian, they are nice, they're very kind and generous, but they don't believe in God. So what do you think about them? Are they sadhus or not? So from secular point of view, you will consider them as nice people. But from spiritual point of view, they are also exploiting God's energy without acknowledging Him. So it is like thieves who steal or they rob somewhere, and afterwards they are very dharmic because they divide it and they act very nicely among themselves, but they are actually stealing it. So if you do not know that they are stealing, then they will look very nice people. They are very truthful to each other. Generally it is seen like that. That's why they can cooperate. That's why you see that gangsters, they can cooperate more than normal people. Recently it just happened day before yesterday here in Uttar Pradesh, some big gangster was there and some 15-20 people went to arrest him, and somehow he had its spies in the police station. He was informed, so his people came and they shot 8 of the police people. They killed on the spot. Kanpur, including one DSP, one big police officer was there. They killed. So, and then that guy is still absconding.
He's scared.
Yeah. 4 were injured or more were injured, but 8 were, I don't know how many got injured, but 8 killed. So that's how they are, he has like his own small kingdom.
He has been encountered.
He's been in home.
Okay.
Right. Police all are there.
When today?
Yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, but still they cooperate. So they have so much trust in each other. They are ready to give their life. So this is what it means. So this is what Krishna is showing, because it is easy to see adharmic people as adharmic. But some people who look very dharmic but are also dharmic, it is difficult to figure them out. That's why people get confused. So many people are even confused about Ravana, that Ravana was a great learned people. They even worship him in some places. So dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. So principles of dharma are difficult to understand.
Dear Babaji Maharaja, would you be so kind to clarify the notion of Shravana? Because again and again Srimad Bhagavata highlights the notion of hearing. And what about Patthana? Because nowhere we see that it's important to read. And since every Monday you talk about Shabda Pramana, does it work in the similar way when we read some granthas, some books, some shastra? Is it the same process and thus the same influence on one's consciousness? Thank you.
Yeah, reading is also having its effect. But generally the system in India was that first you hear and then you read. And of course there were not books available in the olden days as we have now. So people were mainly hearing and then they could talk with each other. But since books were not easily available, and even if somebody has to write or copy it, it was not that everybody was doing it. So reading was not so much popular, but it is there, it is also a part of, you can say, hearing. But first you have to hear and then you can read. Otherwise what happens when you read, then you understand it with your own samskaras and may take out wrong meaning. So that's why they talk about hearing all the time. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam.